What is up, everyone? Happy Fantasy Friday. It's not Fantasy Friday. What is up, everyone? I'm Gregory LaPerche. Today, I'm just going to be doing my December wrap-up, and it was the Reindeer Games readathon over in the Shelf Space Discord server, and I was on Team Snow Miser, and we won, and I'm just going to put a clip of Team Captain Alan claiming victory on our behalf on Friday night.
And I am happy to report that we, Team Snow Miser, won by a lot. We actually read more pages than any readathon competitors in the history of the United States. Now, you may hear some lies that maybe Team Kevin McAllister or Clark Griswold or Jack Skellington read more pages than us. This is not true. I have had reports rolling in from all over the internet of people who have seen these other teams bussing in pages. I think someone said that Team Kevin McAllister ordered thousands of blank pages from Amazon and were illegally counting them toward their total. We plan to take this all the way to the highest court in the land, Jessie May, to see that these other teams' results are overturned. We are confident that after all legal pages are counted, that Snow Miser will be proven as the victor by a long shot.
There were some reports over the weekend that the readathon teams that lost to us, Team Snow Miser, are continuing with the fraudulent readathon score tabulation. There are more reports of illegal page counting machines used by other teams, and parts from those page counting machines were actually replaced during the counting, and it seems to have affected our page count numbers. Also, there was a 1 hour long conversation over the weekend between team captain Alan and Jessie May over a lot of these disturbing findings, and Alan's just pleading our case against the fraudulent, stolen readathon. And Alan was reminding Jessie that they're in the same booktube party, and they're very much affiliated with each other, so Jessie really should be on our side on this. So yes, Team Snow Miser won. Do you hear how loudly I'm saying this? Do you hear how authoritative I am? We won. And I love everyone, so, and you guys, it was fun. And I read a lot, so there's a lot to get to. But first, I will say I'm reading Skyward in my Discord. It is my buddy read for January, so if that is interesting to you, join that, because we'll have a lot of people, actually. Like 10 people have expressed interest, which is a lot considering I have like 190-something subscribers. Also, the nonfiction book of the month will be Malcolm X's autobiography as told by Alex Haley. So pick this up. We will be talking about this in my Discord as well. I'll be doing this review on Martin Luther King Day. I haven't started this yet, but I am very excited to. And if you don't know who Malcolm X is, well, here he is. He was cool. He was more aggressive than MLK. MLK is basically like Gandhi. You can think of it like that. Like, you know, super committed to nonviolence. In the Selma, Alabama protests, even when the cops sicked dogs and fire hoses and God knows what else that we don't have historically established on King and his fellow protesters, his nonviolent protesters, King said, don't fight back, love not hate, etc., etc. Malcolm X, he was more militant, aggressive, and he was just, you know, very passionate and profound in his thoughts. So this should be a great read. Even though I personally agree more with King's nonviolent stance. Again, it doesn't take away from Malcolm's influence. And yeah, I just want to learn a bit more about him. So, and people say this book is really good. So moving on to what I actually read. Actually, you know what? We might as well make this a TBR for January as well. So this is the Shelf Space pick. I don't know anything about it, really. So we'll see how it goes. Rhythmatist, Brandon Sanderson, obviously. I'm ready. I'm super pumped for this. I'll be buddy reading this with David's book reviews. So check that out for sure. Also, the map for this is cool. America, look at that. It's not really a spoiler if it's on the inside cover of the book. And yeah, definitely go check out David's channel too. And then I'll be reading Dragon Republic and maybe Burning God if I get to it by R.F. Kuang. I read Poppy War last month, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I think about these. Also, this is month 1 of the Black Company read-along in Slowly Read's Discord server, and I have that book downstairs and I'm just too lazy to get it. But yeah, I'm ready for that. Okay, so now what did I actually read? So this was the Shelf Space Discord book of the month pick. Honestly, not a huge fan of this. I'm probably not going to do a review of this, Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. And like when the book started, I had high hopes for it. It starts like, and we're in the middle of a coup. And I'm like, wow, this is really getting into it right away. I love this. But I don't know, not a big fan of the characters. There's a little too much in the magic system for the first book. I feel like he could have held off a little bit. Like the powder mage stuff was super cool. And powder mages use gunpowder to do cool things with bullets. And like maybe you can like curve bullets or make them go farther. And there's a lot of cool things. But then there's like this other magic system. Actually, there's 2 others, and one is just like little things, which is cool, like being able to stay awake longer. I have no problem with that. It's the third elemental magic, which like wasn't explained well, and I felt like if it was just like a bunch of powder mages instead of like 2 different magic systems, it would have been cooler. And yeah, the characters I didn't like. Honestly, this was worth reading, though, just because of the Shelf Space Discord live show with Jessie May and Library of Alexandria. Super fun. It makes me feel like I don't have to do a review of this because they did like just a great job, and I loved it. Now, A People's History of the United States, I finally finished this month. I did a full review of this. This was my Book of the Month Discord pick for November, so I probably shouldn't talk about it. We're moved beyond it. I'll link the review, though. The Poppy War. Oh man, I had expectations coming into this book. One of my viewers, Joanna, like literally every video, she's like, read the Poppy War. And I'm like, I know I will. And I'm like, we're currently buddy reading Rhythm of War. I can't read Poppy War right now because we're doing a different buddy read right now. And she's like, read it. But yeah, so, and you know, everyone talks about this book too, not just Joanna, like literally everyone. And yeah, like the themes in this book, amazing. The world, I like it a lot. The magic, I like quite a bit, the magic system. Characters, overall, negative. They're not like horrible or anything, but they're just definitely not good. And the plot was pretty good, I guess. So overall 4-star just because of how good the theme was and just because of how much I want to read the next books. I feel like this rating could change depending on the next books. I don't know if that's fair or not. We'll see, though. We'll see. Now, the nonfiction book review I did in this month was The New Jim Crow. Man, this book is awesome. A lot of the things in this book I knew to one extent or another, and I will give John Oliver, the comedian, credit because he's actually covered like a lot of these issues very well, even like very mundane issues like, you know, jury selection and how that's disproportionately white. He like covers those like very niche things, and he does it in, you know, a John Oliver way. I mean, take it or leave it with his comedy. He swears and stuff, but I don't personally have a problem with that. And it's these little things that add up. There's like the jury selection itself and who's brought in. Then there's prosecutors being able to throw away any juror for like any reason. And there were quotes in here of actual prosecutors being like, I don't like that man's mustache. That man's mustache is a mustache of someone I would not trust. And basically prosecutors can throw out people of whatever race they don't want on the jury for non-racialized reasons. So there's that. There's, you know, who gets pulled over more, black people or white people. There's some talk about education funding and stuff like that, but again, it's more about incarceration rates and like within the criminal justice system. There's some stuff about getting housing after you're incarcerated or getting loans after you're incarcerated and how that's more difficult. And then there's this birdcage analogy in this book, which I had never heard But like each of these like smaller problems, like jury selection, or like not being able to get loans as easily for a new house, or having less access to public transportation, each one of these things on its own is just like a wire of the birdcage. But when all these things are put together, it both figuratively and literally, in some cases, unfortunately, cages the bird. And it kind of like holds back the African American community. And yeah, I've got to do like a longer review on this book because I've got so many things to say. I just finished it like at the end of the month. And I've got all these end of the year videos I want to do too. But I will do a review on this one. And last but not least, actually two more. I read The Dawn Shard, which is the novella right before this book. But this is book 4 of Stormlight Archive. Look at that. I spilled a little water, so my pages are messed up, which I'm very sad about. But yeah, oh man, this was so good. I didn't like it as much as book 1, and definitely not as much as book 2. But I did enjoy buddy reading it in my Discord and talking to people. I had all sorts of conspiracies. My newest conspiracy that I like the most is that I am Wit, which is a character you meet in book 1 of the Stormlight Archive. Like, obviously, I'm not a character from a fantasy book, but, like, why am I Wit? Like, it just doesn't make sense, but it's just so fun being, like, a conspiracy theorist with the Stormlight Archive books, and yeah, overall, very good. I can't really say too much because it's the 4th book in a series, you know, but the cover art's beautiful, and this character I like more in this book than I did the last book. I guess that's not a spoiler because it's on the cover. And this book was definitely better than the last book. The last book really... I mean, it wasn't bad or anything, but, like, I just wasn't on board, I guess. And this was, like, a 4.5-star book, probably, for me. So, yeah, that's everything. Everyone like, comment, subscribe. Join my Discord. Tell me if you're reading any of these. If you're reading The Dragon Republic next month, like, let me know when. I'd love to talk about it with someone. And, yeah, see ya.
Thank you, BookTube, and God bless America.